That. Well, what do Florida voters think about a possible primary battle between the former president and Governor Ron DeSantis, not to mention other candidates waiting in the wings? Nearly 14.5 million Floridians were eligible to vote in the midterms, with registered Republicans outnumbering Democrats by almost 300,000. NewsNation senior national correspondent Brian Entin spoke with some of those very same voters, joins us live from Miami. Brian.
Nichole, they're certainly in an interesting position right now because these voters, they know DeSantis well, obviously, because he's the governor here in Florida. They also know Trump well. Remember, he's a Floridian. He spends half the year here. He had his winter White House here. And a lot of Republican voters that we spoke to, and independents too, said they would have a hard time choosing between DeSantis or Trump.
Again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
I think people respond to the leadership. They respond to the results.
Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, both popular in the Sunshine State, longtime friends, now foes, forcing Floridians to start thinking about who they would possibly pick for president. If it came down to Trump or DeSantis, which way would you go?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's really tough.
Both.
Yeah, we love both. So.
If you had to pick one, though.
I don't know. It would depend. 2 years, a lot can happen in 2 years.
In Miami's Little Havana neighborhood, Republicans we talked to were divided on the issue.
I think I would go for Trump at this point in time. I think DeSantis has plenty of time. I think he's got some work to do yet in Florida.
DeSantis all the way through.
DeSantis?
All the way through.
Why is that?
Because he's a guy. Simple. Got brains.
We're in Miami-Dade County, Florida, which is really unique because it turned basically totally red last Tuesday on Election Day. DeSantis won this county by 11 percentage points. You compare that back to 2020 when Biden won Miami-Dade County by 7 percentage points. Driving around, we spotted this house with a huge Trump sign. And when we got closer, we noticed a DeSantis sign too, and Trump and DeSantis bumper stickers. You have both signs. Who would you go for? You have a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Would you pick Trump or DeSantis? Who's your favorite?
That one.
In Spanish, Miguel Perez, an immigrant from Cuba, said Trump or DeSantis is the million-dollar question.
Oh, it already says 2024.
Inside, he showed us his Trump flag and explained that ultimately he would support Trump over DeSantis because he feels Trump is better for fighting socialism. If it comes down to Trump or DeSantis, which way would you go?
I'm out. I'm good.
Trump. Trump all day.
At nearby Florida International University, there was a mix of opinions among college students. Most we talked to, though, seemed to favor DeSantis.
I think a lot of young people do support DeSantis, especially after having Trump as president and, a lot of the chaos that's been going on in the country because of that. So I feel like DeSantis would be a new fit and probably a good fit for us.
I do respect that he maintains like a professional, behavior and a conduct that is respectable to people, the outsiders looking in. It's definitely something that gives me more peace of mind as opposed to Donald Trump being a loose cannon.
What I think personally is Trump. Yeah, so.
You like Trump a little better?
Than DeSantis, because I've actually seen what he's done for the economy.
A lot of people said it would be a tough decision. There were some who hoped that they could actually run together and DeSantis could be Trump's running mate. We'll obviously have to wait and see. Nichole?
Yes, we will. Okay, Brian, thank you for that.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.